Hi, my name is Cami and welcome to the New to Microsoft 365 channel. So today we're going to talk about MFA, which is Multi-Factor Authentication. Let's get started. So as I said before, we're going to be going through MFA. So I thought it would be quite cool to actually ask ChatGPT, I'm joking of course, Microsoft Copilot, what is MFA? So to start off with, MFA is pretty much a security feature or security system that is another added layer on top of the passwords to your accounts. Pretty much, instead of relying on one piece of information like your password, it requires something else on top of your password to make it a bit more harder to gain access to your account unauthorized. And then we can see here, Copilot has already gone a step ahead, given a few different MFA methods. And then here's a graphic broken down into 3 different categories. So something that you know, which could be again like a password or a PIN, something that you have, which would be like a smartphone or any authentication codes, and then something that you are. So in a lot of cases, it would be either face recognition or it could be your fingerprint. But essentially, to keep your accounts really secure from unauthorized access, the aim is to get from just using a password to becoming passwordless, which for any of you that work in organizations are probably pretty familiar with, the Microsoft Authenticator app with phone sign-in, or at least with, Windows Hello on your laptop. And on your Microsoft Work account, we have the ability to kind of tailor what type of MFA methods can be set up depending on what the organization is looking for. We're just going to go through just being able to set up MFA and where would be the common places that you would look for. So first, let's head off to admin.microsoft.com, commonly known as the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. Right, what we're going to do is, first of all, make sure that we have a spare user that's created, which I believe I've already created. If I can spell properly. There we go, our MFA user. There we go. All right, next I want to go to Entra ID. I want to configure MFA here, going through or understanding what security defaults is, right? Essentially, security defaults, as it says here, are basic identity security mechanisms that are specifically recommended by Microsoft. The main 2 that you should remember or need to focus on when it comes to security defaults is that it enables MFA for all users. Also, it doesn't allow for legacy authentication. So those are 2 things that you have to, consider when you're going to be using security defaults. Also, whenever you're creating new tenants, normally this is already turned on automatically, right? So let's say you wanted to have a bit more of a more complex system than security defaults. You can use something instead called conditional access. So how do I even enable security defaults? So if I go to overview right here, underneath identity, there we go. So we've got properties right here. So we can click properties. And as we've got here, we've got security defaults. Now you can go in here and then say, I want to disable security defaults. And it'll give you a few different options. And one of the options, as you can see here, is my organization is planning to use conditional access. So this is actually one of the common uses of conditional access, is being able to configure MFA, particularly how you specifically want in that organization. So I'm just going to disable it for now. Perfect. And then the next thing we're going to do is we are going to go create a conditional access policy. Now let's go back to Copilot. Let's see what Copilot says about or what conditional access is. Yeah, so as you can see, conditional access pretty much is a security feature used in IAM or identity and access management, pretty much to protect the access of particular resources, which, for example, in this case, let's just say it's Office 365 or Microsoft 365. You can configure particular conditions in which users have to meet to then be able to access that particular resource. So for example, I want, the marketing team, if they're signing into, for example, SharePoint, they must be signing in with MFA, for example. So stuff like that. Pretty much if this, then that. So I'll show you how that works. So in this case, we're actually going to use a template because it's actually easier to do it that way for people who are new. So you would go in here and as you can see here, you've got require multi-factor authentication for admins. You've got a few different ones. What we're looking for is require MFA for all users. So I can see that right here. So I'm going to select that. And then we're going to click next and review. So as you can see here, we've got the name. It's already filled that out for us, so I'm not going to change it. We can have the policy state to off, on, or report only. Essentially what report only does is gives you an understanding of what the policy would do if it was on via the what if functionality within conditional access, which I can show you in another video. Very useful as an administration tool. And then here we've got our assignments. So we've got all users as the included group. In this case, excluded users. Normally it will automatically exclude the current user. Next, we've got cloud apps. As you can see here, it's defaulted to all apps, but normally I would put Office 365 as the cloud app. If that's the resource I want to require MFA for users to use. Lastly, we've got our access controls, and we have it set to require MFA to grant access. Next, we're just going to click create. And there we go. There's your conditional access policy that requires all users to use MFA. In another video, I'll talk about authentication methods and how we can configure that. I put out a post recently just asking people what type of videos they would like me to do. And it seems that people want me to do more Microsoft 365 technical tutorials, or any tutorials around M365 basically. We've just crossed over 200 subscribers. Really thankful for my subscribers. But yeah, let's set out a goal for about 500 subscribers. I don't know till when, but let's just aim for 500. So if any of you have friends, people who want to know about M365, get sharing, get them to subscribe. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed, like the video. I know it's been a while since I've done any videos, but I'm back right now, so let's get going.